Welcome everyone to the live afternoon swing trading room. We're broadcasting live from Nashville, Tennessee. My name is Matt DeLong and I will be your host for this afternoon. Today is Monday, November 23rd. How's everybody doing out there? Anyone make some R's today? I actually did not close any positions. I did not open any today. Marta made some R's. Anyone else? Just Marta, just all by herself. Nitro, definitely richer than he was yesterday. Bob, look at that. Over two R's on SPCE, which is, that's Virgin Galactic. Yep, Albert, almost an R. Nice. Hello, Sammy. Bought some Peloton this morning. Nice. I think you're talking about stock versus the actual. I've been looking at Peloton, whether I want to buy the actual hardware itself. I'm on the fence a little bit right now. But if you guys are ready, let's jump in and let's talk about the markets. So let's start with the overall markets. I drew this line, I think it was a week or two ago. We're still kind of on plan for that. There's still US election drama continuing, and we'll see what happens. But overall, we closed lower, kind of made a little bit of a new low, did not hold that and went high and closed higher. So that tells me that things are going to continue bullish long term. It might, of course, chop around short term, but overall be bullish. And for those of you who are in my rooms on Fridays, we look at distribution days. And this is what I got for you guys on distribution days. We count 6 of them. And a distribution day basically just is a way to count the past 25 days, how kind of like the weather sentiment and what is the overall market sentiment for going forward. And so when you count 5 or 6 in the past 25 days, that means things are kind of choppy. And so a distribution day is basically a day like this right here, where you have above, this thing is not drawing well, right here, where you have a sell-off with higher volume than the previous session, right? So you guys can all see here, this candle here has higher volume than the previous session, and it was down 0.2%. And so that's kind of a definition of a distribution day. Yep. Okay, so same thing on the Qs. We have the same number. I think we have 6 as well. Yep. So people ask, how does a distribution day tell you what to do, what not to do? And again, it's really, if you get 5 or 6 in a short period of time, that's just kind of a warning sign. It's kind of like earthquake rumblings a little bit. It's not the end of the world, but it would be like considered in NASCAR, it'd be considered a yellow caution flag, right? And so you get rid of these days as you continue more days that don't have distribution days, these kind of roll off. And so that's where we are overall on the overall indexes. Let's take a look at the diamonds, same thing, right? Let's turn on our distribution days. And nothing happened. Oh, I don't have the program into the time. That's why it didn't happen. That's why nothing showed up. Okay, let's see. Let's get to your list for Merchant Monday. Apple. How many of you guys made some money on Apple today? So Apple, it looks like it's hanging out pretty well. Let me turn on some drawing tools here. So if you were to look kind of in this general area, you'll notice there's some congestion, right? Oops. This is kind of like LA traffic, right? Where you above, below. And it looks like it is pulling back to this blue line, which is our 100-day simple moving average. If we were to look on this on Momo, it actually gave a trigger earlier. I think it was the 18th, which was on Wednesday, to go short Apple. So I don't know if you guys took a little bite of that apple, but that is kind of what Momo is, our short-term intermediate swing trade strategy, both long and short. And that kind of gave the signal here Apple is not on my actual, it's not one of my 15, so I do not trade it, but I know RLT does this lots and lots. RLT traders make lots and lots of R's on Apple. Okay, next, let's look at Zoom. So I actually saw this earlier, and if you guys are interested, if someone is not in Zoom, you can certainly put a buy order in here, maybe with the stop down here. I think this is not on my watch list, but this is certainly something that you could set up, maybe a little bit of a pullback here, right? So on Momo, it gave us a signal here on the 19th. However, let's see, on Thursday. And if you didn't get in, there might be a little bit of a pullback. And so if you set up an order like this, the anticipation would be that we have a little bit of a pullback, kind of get filled and continue higher. So that is Zoom. As I do think long-term, Zoom's going to go higher. Obviously, it's had lots of chop and lots of little sections in here. But overall, if you were to look at it on a bigger long-term, you guys know that, I mean, look at this. Let's see, a year ago in November, it was in the 80s and it's now in the 440s and it touched almost 600. So, you know, Zoom is, it does have quite a bit of a pullback that it made. As you guys know, when you have stocks that move a long way away from their moving averages right here, right here, they end up working out like a rubber band, right? Where they're going to snap back at some point. And that's kind of what happened. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen, it bounced right off the 100-day simple moving average. So that's kind of what I recommend for those of you who are interested in playing a Momo trade off of Zoom. That would be, that would totally be in plan. That would be acceptable. That would be following our rules. Does anyone have any questions? Jean, you had you raised your hand. Yep. Okay, wrong button. Okay, got it. Marta says she's been using Momo. Nice. How many of you guys have been have been paper trading Momo? Go ahead and type Momo into the chat pane if you've been using Momo. I know my boy Jonathan Wage has been playing with it. Yep, he's actually taken it a step farther and he's automating this, right? How do I get the Momo, Matt? Momo for real. So Marek, let me send you a URL. I'll go ahead and put it into the chat pane. And there is a video that has a list of kind of my watch list, as well as the indicator and the recipe. So I just pasted it there for you guys to take a look at. Momo, Zach, great question. Momo is just a nickname for momentum, and it's kind of a just a shortened it's not an acronym, but it's a shortened name for momentum, kind of Momo. Yep. And it's catchy, right? It makes good for some hashtags. Sammy says, get Momo or get FOMO. Alrighty. And Jonathan, of course, is doing Auto Momo. Yep. Alan Stanley says he's using it live and killing it this month. Looks like I'll be holding it into next month. Nice. Nice, man. Alan was in my my first mentoring group that I hosted, kind of a private invite only mentoring group that I did. So Merrick, there's the answer to your question is that link I just posted. If you scroll up just a tad. Yep. Mo is obsessed with Momo. That's amazing, guys. I love that you guys are doing, you're kind of taking action. At the end of the day, I feel like my job is not to make R's. My job is to help you guys make R's, right? I make plenty of R's myself. I'm trying to share the love, share the knowledge, share some stuff that I've learned. As you guys know, Jeremy and I have very, very different styles of trading. I'm more of a systematic, like, why should we do this? Not just, this looks good right here. It's hard to teach that. So having, you know, instead of, we get people ask all the time about alerts. Can you give us your alerts? And I feel like alerts are kind of a short-term shot in the arm. It doesn't really teach you anything. You're not going to build any kind of long-term wealth or really much of anything just following alerts. I feel that if we can teach you guys to think on your own and do this on your own, that you're better off, even if in the short term you maybe miss out on some alerts, but long term I think you'll be in a much better position. So, and you'll thank us later, right? Okay, is there anyone using so some of you guys are using Momo in paper trading accounts, you're kind of back trading it, some of you guys are using it live. Awesome, that's amazing. Now it feels good that people like actually listen to what we have to say. Okay, so that is a setup for Zoom. I'm going to put that in our trade log. I'm sorry, in our trade journal here in just a second. Let me do that. Next, we're going to look at Peloton. Oops. I got to type it in right for it to work, right? There's that. Okay, Peloton. Nice. And I believe I still have a little bit of Peloton. Let me see. I do. I have the, let me take a look. I believe I drew it on here last week. Yep, I have the January 15, 2021. So next year, well, next year sounds so far away. It's only like weeks away. The $85 put sale at $5. And it looks like I have permission to close it if I wanted to. 61% of the premium has evaporated. So put sales are a kind of a medium, advanced, intermediate strategy for options. So if any of you have never traded options, this is a little bit more advanced of a strategy, an advanced strategy. And so you're basically selling insurance against it going lower. And that's what I did a week or two ago. So, okay, let's see what's next. ZM, yes, Sammy, that'll be an official trade. I will set that up for you guys right now. Let's do it. Let's see, what do we got? We got 4. Let's go back into the Momo. Let's do 420. Just for easiness, for 20. Buy. That can't be right. Is that right? $35 wide stop. Let's do 380. Oops. 390. Kind of a wider stop. Yep. $30 stop. It's a big stop. Yeah, let's go with it. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the trade journal real quick. 1 second. 11/23, 2020. ZM. 420. Buy. 390. Shares. Good. And this is Momo, and we're going to be open. All righty. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's official. It's done. It's sealed in stone. Okay. You guys just took a little peek at our Black Friday sale. I'll show you guys a little more of that. But yes, Sammy, that's official now. It is finished. It is done. Okay, next. Let's go back into Peloton. Okay, Peloton. I got some put sales. I don't know if you guys saw this, but on Friday, it gave us a little green pyramid. Does anyone know what that green pyramid tells us? It tells us is a 10 EMA, means get in at the close of the candle. So if you did that, you'd be up just a smidge today, just a little bit. Falco, you're only seeing one of my browsers. I actually have like 7 running that each have 7 tabs in it. So, so you're only seeing a little piece of the puzzle. Okay, so if any of you got into Peloton, if you followed the 10 EMA, you certainly could have gone in there. I did not do the 10 EMA because I have put sales over here that are already open, but that is certainly a trade you could set up if you wanted to. You could certainly, because it hasn't moved a lot, you could go ahead and put a open limit order based on the close of this, which is 110.90. If you wanted to. 110.90. Let's see, limit buy. 110.90 with a stop down, maybe here. It's going to take a while to get to R, but something like that. Yep. Maybe tighten it up a little bit. Something like that. Okay. I will not make that official. I already have an open position on Peloton. So, yep. Okay. Any questions so far? We kind of talked about 3 different strategies. So if you're new to the afternoon room, I kind of go over 3 strategies. One is the 10 EMA, which is basically an indicator that I built. You just wait for the green arrow to appear and you buy at the close, which is basically like just a couple minutes before the market close. When you get a green arrow before the close, you just buy at the close. And so you're just limiting in order, you're limiting buying in order, and you're kind of micromanaging the order just to make sure it gets filled before the end of the session closes. I do not use market orders. You're gonna get on some of these higher price stocks like Shopify have like several dollar spread. You don't want to lose several dollars per share just trying to get into a trade. So this is one of the strategies I teach. The other one is put sales, which is more advanced. And then the other one is Momo, which is kind of our short-term intermediate strategy, which gave us the signal back here on the 19th to jump in. So how do you get the indicator? I think we're talking about the 10 EMA. Is that the one you're talking about? I think that's what you're talking about. I will post that into the panel now for the 10 EMA. I have a class called Intro to Swing Trading, and that is the URL for the video, plus the indicator, plus the scanner I use, plus the recipe card. So some of you guys know that we've been working hard on trying to teach our strategies in a way that you can easily replicate it. And so we came up with this idea of building a recipe card. And a recipe card, for those of you who cook or who know what cooking is, the idea is that we give you the ingredients and the steps that you can go easily reproduce this on your own, right? So we want to let you guys think on your own. We want to, obviously we're taking official trades, but we want you guys to be empowered enough to do this on your own, so you don't have to rely on us for alerts all day, every day. And that's fine when you're first starting out to learn. But I literally know people who've been following alerts for years and years and years, and they're still wondering why they're not profitable. So at the end of the day, you want to learn how to do this on your own, right? That's kind of how it works. So yep, my pleasure. Okay, so you guys crack me up. Okay. Okay, let's go next to plug. Let's take a look on the daily chart first. Geez, look at this thing. Elevator up. Yes, please. So at the beginning of let's see, this time last year, it was in the 2s, and now it's in the 27. So we had a nice 10x run. Your average 10x stock. Wow, it's made quite a run. I would not be the guy buying it up here, honestly. If you want to day trade it, maybe that's something you would do on some kind of a pullback. But wow, it's made quite the run. If you are interested in buying it, so here's one thing that really changed. Jeremy and I spent a lot of time together and talking. One of the things that really helped me learn how Jeremy thinks, get into the mind of the wizard, is most of Jeremy's trades, if you notice, are limit buy order as far as bullish, right? You're getting in bullish, you're waiting for a pullback. You're never chasing it higher. Now, yes, he does take some breakouts, but most of them are pullbacks. You're waiting for a stock to come back down to earth first, right? So in this case, if we were to open up the 10 EMA, you see our signal would have been right here, which is kind of past already, right? This was on November 2nd. So this was exactly 4 weeks ago. Would have been a great time to get in. You see that the stock made this new high and then it had some pullback right through here, right? Kind of like a bull flag, right? And so that's the best time to get in, is when you get these kind of pullbacks. Now, you don't want to be the guy buying at the ultimate, at the ultimate high or the all-time high, because we all know when you chase things higher, it's going to have a pullback, right? You're going to have a red P&L, right? You're going to have an unhappy face, and then you're going to sell because you're going to take a loss, and then it's going to rocket higher without you, right? And we've all made those mistakes. We've all made those noob mistakes. We don't want to do that. That's kind of what your knee-jerk reaction should be. And obviously you want to kind of think about this and be smart about this. So ideally for me, I don't know. I don't know that I see a setup here unless, the crossover happened even on, see, look at that. That even lined up. The 10 EMA lined up very well with the Momo. Look at that. You guys see that? It's like a double signal. I'm going to have to write that down and study that. Double signal, right? It's like you get in short term and medium term, and they both give you the go signal on the same day. How amazing is that? Right? Nitro said, yes, Nitro says his trades are 99% limit buys. So think about it, guys. How often do you take stop limit, which is basically just means price has to go higher first to enter a trade, like a stop limit buy or a sell if you're shorting something? It's actually a little, I feel like it's a little less stressful when you're not buying a breakout and you just have an open order and the stock comes to you, right? It's like the valet parking is going to come to you and you just wait. That's it. You just wait, spend a lot of time waiting. But that's okay, right? If you want thrills, go to amusement park, go play video games, do something else. Don't gamble your money away just seeking a thrill. There's a name for that. It's gambling, but we are traders, not gamblers, right? Edward says, do a lot more stop limits. There's nothing wrong with stop limits. I'm just saying Jerremy, intraday, Jerremy typically uses more limits. Yeah, limit buys. Yep. Okay. After you see a retracement, I feel taking a stop limit breakout is useful as it confirms the continuation of the trend. Yeah, it can at times. I'm not saying not to use a stop limit. I'm just saying most orders, probably a good 80%, 90 maybe, are going to be limit buys, which means I'm going to wait for the price to come back down to a certain level, wherever that is. I'm going to wait for it. Like on this this is obviously a very bullish candle. It almost had no upper wick, which means it closed near the top of the candle. You can see this dotted line represents where it is kind of after hours, right? But typically I'm going to wait for some kind of a pullback, maybe down to here. And I guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what, you're going to get a pullback somehow, somewhere. The question is, are you willing to wait for it? Are we willing to be patient, right? Are we willing to be patient? P-A-Y, patient, patience pays. So I don't really see anything on this. Again, the Momo, the Momo and the 10 EMA, both the signals kind of came back earlier in the month. Obviously, that would have been a nice run, right? If you would kind of bought in over here, almost doubled your money, right? You got in around 15, up here is 30, which is doubled, which is not bad for a month. Double your money. Obviously, you're not necessarily doubling your account. You're just doubling, whatever your dollar amount invested would be. So that is plug. Okay, next is Twilio. I'm taking too long. Chatty Cathy over here. So, Twilio, this is on my watch list. I did not get in here. I think I had too many positions already, but this is a good signal. This is where our Momo would have told us to enter. If we were to look at it on the 10 EMA, we got several signals, of which Thursday was our most recent. Look at that, almost every other day. Get in, get in, get in, right? So nothing there on Twilio. You certainly could set up an order here, wait for a pullback. If you would have done that, actually, this is a great thing to bring up, ladies and gentlemen, is if you miss a trade, if you miss a signal, if you don't get filled, if you don't get the order set up early enough, do not chase it higher, like ever. So let's say that you missed this, right? Yeah, on Friday, this is your signal on Thursday. You missed it on Friday, and you're right. But if you would have had a limit buy order open, just waiting to get filled, maybe it chops around a little bit, right? Maybe it goes around a little bit before it goes higher. If you have an order waiting out there, you can almost pretend like you got in on it back on the day it gave you the signal, right? The setup's still valid. Obviously, it has not gone to the crapper yet, right? So obviously, it's still a valid signal. You have a stop market order down here and your limit buy here at the close, right? So that's just something to recommend. I do that frequently. If sometimes I have too many open positions, and I can't be in everything all the time. So, so Sammy said he got Momo'd at 275. Right, you got in a little lower than you got in over here somewhere. Yep, got in a little early, but yep. Some of you guys asked this, but some of you use the extended hours. I actually have never tested it with the extended hours. Some of you, Jeremy sent me a screenshot one time on saying, hey, I got in at 275 or whatever the stock was. But the actual strategy calls for the extended hours to be turned off, which is this EXT. For those of you who are new to TradingView, you can kind of toggle it on and off. You'll see my chart is shaded with the yellowish areas. Those are the after hours pre-market times. And I have those turned off for the strategy itself. So that's what I have for you on Twilio. Let's take one more look along. Yep. Cool. Alrighty, so let's go to our next stock, which is eBay. Are they still around, eBay? I feel like I haven't bought anything on eBay in probably like 35 years. I'm joking, they're not, they haven't been around 35 years. But our signal on Momo looks like get in right here. Boom. Look at that, right at the close. You guys see that? Now, obviously, if you've missed it, you can keep the order open. You can go ahead and set up an order if you want to take that trade. This is not on my watch list, so I'm not in this one. But you can certainly take that trade. Let's take a look at it on a bigger time frame. Ooh, look at that. So you guys see my put sale indicator gave several signals to sell here at this 40, 45, 44, 45 level. Pretty interesting. And it's held up pretty well above that price, right? So that's the put sale. It has not given any 10 EMA because our moving averages are crossed backwards. They're upside down. Ideally, we want the blue line above. Not ideally, but that's what the strategy calls for. You want the blue line above the green line, right? So you want the 10 EMA, the 10 exponential moving average on the daily chart to be above the 50-day exponential moving average. Okay, that's what I have on that. And next, let's go to Workday. Oops, Workday. Anyone on Workday, on Workday? So our last signal for, let's see what it said to get in here. You probably have a stop somewhere down here. So you'd be down just a little bit. It looks like after hours it's gapping. It's not gapping, but it's going up just a tad. Let's take a look at it on the long term. With our longer term moving averages, yep, holding. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That's the second time it bounced. You guys see that? Second time it's bounced off of this blue line, which is my 100 simple moving average. Look at that. Huh. you guys know that these moving averages sometimes act like support and resistance. In this case, kind of a support level. Again, our naked put indicator giving off signs to tell us to check our premium. Amazing. Let's take a look at it on the shorter term. Momo would have said to get in short right here, or not short, either short or with put options. I typically, on these that are short, I typically just use put options. Yep, because you don't want to wake up and a company is buying them and they're being bought out for $300 a share and you're just hosed. Which again, ladies and gentlemen, if you think about shorting, you are kind of very much counter trend. So a company like this kind of chopped around quite a bit, actually, now that I look at it. But let's just say since COVID, right, it's made some nice moves higher. And overall, the stock market is designed to go higher. So if you are short, if you're going down and up elevator, you can certainly do that. However, don't hold it forever, right? It's just, as you guys know, if you were short all through here and you wanted to hold it, you would have lost it all if you kept going, kept riding it higher, right? So because if you are counter trend, meaning short in a bullish market, you're counter trend, you don't want to hold it for a very long period of time. You want to take quick gains and then move along. So that's what I have for you guys on workday. All right, next is AMD. I believe, Zach, you asked for this. A couple of people asked for AMD. I got some nice signals a few weeks ago on put sales. Looks like a nice entry here. Stop down here. That was our last 10 EMA signal that we got. That is, AMD is not on my watch list, and let's take a look at the Momo. We'll see what Momo has to say for us. So Momo would have gotten in bullish right there. You guys see that? Yep. Alan Stanley, are you in AMD? No, he's not in AMD. Okay. All right, so that's what I have for you on AMD. So it looks like I don't see anything setting up. Just using my 3 strategies. Of course, Jeremy and some of you guys may see other things, but just using my 3 strategies, I don't really see anything setting up. Short of kind of what I called out earlier, which is just like a limit buy here with maybe a stop down here. Kind of wait for a little bit of a pullback to jump into AMD, right? Something like that. It's not on my official, it's not on my watch list. So, okay, next is, what's next? SDC, Smile Direct Club. Whew. So this is a Nashville-based company, and my daughter knows one of her friends' father is an executive at this company. So I don't have any inside knowledge about how the company operates, except that's a Nashville company. But it looks like we probably got triggered on Momo around here. So on the 17th, so Tuesday would have been a good time to jump in. You guys see that? So I know we're not taking a lot of official trades here, but if we are patient, we will make some money. We do not need to have 5 official trades every day. I promise you, you don't want that. Because what happens if they all get filled and then the market moves against us? Trust me, we don't necessarily want that. We do want to have some risk exposure out there, of course. So that's kind of what I see on Smile Direct Club. We go back into, yeah. So made some new highs. If you guys were in it, good job. Today would have been a great day to try to sell some covered calls, if possible, up at maybe the $14.50, $15, depending on where the premium is, maybe $14. Would have been a good time to sell some covered calls if you were in it already. Otherwise, I don't see anything just yet. We need to be patient. DKNG, DraftKings. Let's see, DraftKings DraftKings. I think I have some shares. I do. Look at that. Huh. I'll be darned. I have some shares. DraftKings. Let's see. What did I do? I got in. Oh, right here. On this one, I decided because it's inexpensive. I decided to get some shares, not actual stock. So, ladies and gentlemen, I follow my own rules. Can you believe that? That is amazing. This Momo strategy, it just continues to deliver. I don't know if you guys have what your thoughts are with it. Maybe you've made some money with it. Maybe you've lost some money with it, but I'm pretty happy with it. We can obviously overcomplicate and add a whole bunch more rules, make it 100 times more complicated, and make it deliver slightly better results with 100 times more headaches. But I just like the simple stuff, right? So, alrighty. Yep. Angela, how do you get all your indicators on the top ALMAZ instead of a pull down? Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great question. There is a button right here to save indicator. Angela, look at this. You have your own template in my account. How did that happen? So I click on A in the Angela day trade on a 5-minute chart, pops up. You see my little, that's a totally different indicator, but that's how you do it. Is you basically set up what you want. You go to save indicator template, and then you give it a name, and it uses the first letter of the name. So A, this long-term, medium-term, short-term, right? That's how it works. Yep. Oh yes, I'm sorry. You do hit the star button to make them show up over here. So that's how that works. Okay, so let's take a look. Back to DraftKings DKNG on the Momo. All right, ladies and gentlemen, anyone have any questions why I got in there? Some of the feedback that we get from some of our people that reach out to you guys is we need to explain more why we do what we do instead of just saying buy now, sell now, right? You're just, that's follow the leader. That's like what we call a mirror trader or a copy trader. You're trying to copy what everyone else is doing. But ideally, you guys can understand why this triggered. Does anyone have any questions about DraftKings? Why I got in, why that triggered there? Does anyone have any questions? No questions. Is my microphone on? Can you hear me? So curious with how I came up with a strategy. So lots and lots and lots of testing. Most short-term swing traders use an hourly chart, and an hourly chart is kind of fundamentally flawed because I've explained this before, where you have 6.5 hours of the market is open, right? So how does 7 candles represent 6.5 hours? Well, the answer is that last candle is really 30 minutes. It's not actually an hour. Even though it's an hour chart, it's not actually an hour. It's 30 minutes worth. So if you're making buying and selling decisions based on a candle that's kind of not even a full candle, it's like a half candle, so to speak. It's like, it's missing its arms, but it has its legs, right? It's not fully there. And so I did some math, and I'm like, how do we get like evenly spaced candles? And so the 78-minute chart, there's several variations of it, but the 78-minute candle, 78-minute chart is what came out of that. So that's typically what that's always what I use for Momo and for short term. So it's kind of like my version of the hourly swing trading. That's kind of what that is. And then the 8 and the 21 EMA, those are common short term exponential moving averages. So I did that, and then I built a strategy tester to go back and test a whole bunch of things and provide some statistics. If we have a little bit of time, I can show you guys that again if you guys want to see that. But I need to get moving. I got a bunch of tickers I still need to go over. But type I understand or something in the chat pane if it makes sense why I got in here, why I bought some shares right here. Something, yes, understand. Okay. Okay, excellent. Okay, next is GAN. GAN, what are we doing, GAN? Our signal for Momo would have been right here at the close. And we'd be down just a smidge. It does look like it's chopping a little bit. Let's take a look on a bigger time frame. A little bit of, is this a new IPO from May? Wow. Who IPOs in the middle of COVID? GAN does. Crazy. They got some, that's gutsy. Say that, yeah. So as far as the 10 EMA strategy, if you were to look at the blue line kind of coming up here, it looks like it's getting ready to switch. The blue and the green lines will be switching very, very soon. And if we continue, I would say in the next day or two, we'll get a setup where we'll get some, we'll get a green arrow to appear and we can buy at the close. So not quite there. It looks like it's very, very close. You guys see the green and blue lines there? About ready to switch. Okay. That is GAN. Next is SBE. I'm never sure what that is. SBE. Switchback energy. Whew. Okay, does anyone have FOMO looking at this chart? Come on, be honest. So here's a question. How would you know to get into this? Obviously, no one knew it was going to rocket from, what was this, about 10 bucks to 34, 35, 36 bucks in a matter of 2 months. But if you were paying attention, this is not on my watch list, but if you were paying attention, you got some signals before it happened, right? You definitely got some signals. Now, if we were to go back and we were look at it on a Momo, you got a signal over here on November 3rd to get in. It almost kicked you out over here during this sideways movement, but it rocketed higher. So the cool thing about Momo is if you get into the stock, it may chop around for a good, couple week and a half, something like that. Not really go very far. So if you buy options, right, the time decay would kind of, yes, you'd be a little bit maybe in the money, just depending on what strike you bought, but the time decay would have been kind of burning. It's like holding the grenade while the clock is ticking. And if you held on, you didn't panic, you got this nice move higher. So that's SBE. It looks like it's made its move. I do not recommend anyone go buy it tomorrow. Obviously, you can day trade if you want, but you don't want to be somebody somewhere was the guy who bought right here, right? And then somebody somewhere is this blue line right here, which represents after hours. So if you guys see this and feel like you missed out on something, you have a disease known as FOMO, fear of missing out. And when you have that disease, it makes you do things that aren't wise. It makes you chase price higher. Now, who knows? This might go to $40, $45 tomorrow. But at the end of the day, guys, you have to ask yourself, do you want to make gains or consistent gains? Like we can make quick gains all day, every day and not be able to replicate that, but you're not going to build long-term wealth if you just make a gain here. Like let's say someone made 10 R's off of this, right? But then tomorrow you take a whole bunch of 10 1R losing trades. You really didn't make, you're not ahead. You're kind of frustrated with the process, right? So if you can wait and find if you're able to find a good happy medium of trying to not be super entertained and then just setting up the right amount of patience to go into your trades and let you wait for things to pull back and set up in your favor. Usually when I set up an order, I don't tinker with it unless I'm trying to buy at the close, unless I'm trying to get an order filled. But I don't adjust it and tweak it and cancel it and reset it. Like there's a whole lot of activity that goes into doing that. And in my mind, investing is two parts. One is time and one is money, right? So if I have to spend 6.5 hours a day to day trade and kind of force things to happen and really hustle, like that takes a lot of my time, right? So that's part of the component. But if I can take 30 minutes a day and make the same amount I would have day trading, why would you not choose the swing trading? That frees up my whole time. You guys see what I'm saying? Does it make sense? So trying to mix, trying to think about investing and trading both in time, in terms of your dollars and your money, your dollars and your time, both, right? That's kind of how I think about it. So for, just even in real estate, for example, if you have a rental property that you own and you are the manager, you're going to get the toilets and you're going to get the calls in the middle of the night about the leaky toilets, the roof, the AC, the whatever. You're going to get all those, right? And so if you do that yourself, you're allocating your time, but yes, you'll make a little bit more money, but you're trading off your time. You guys see what I'm saying? But if you hire a management company, it's their time, but you're going to lose a little bit of money to free up your time. So that's how I always try to think about things like this. Is it's a mix of time and money, and make sure you understand both pieces of those, right? So that's my that's my ramble for today. It's my sermon. You're dismissed. Okay, next is PLTR. Wow, another one. They just did their IPO. So on this one, we don't even have a 50-day exponential moving average because it hasn't been out for 50 days. But if we were to look at, which means we're not going to have a put sale. So let's take a look at it on the Momo. Momo would have said, get in over here around the $10 and change level. So you would have doubled your money already just since November 2nd. Wow. I don't know if they have options or not, but typically if you're using Momo and you're trying to play options, typically I use a 30-day expiration and a 0.4 delta, or you could say a 40 delta. That's typically what I would do. I'm not sure if PLTR has options or not, but that's what you could do. All right. Again, don't chase these things higher. Yes, they can still go higher, but again, you want something that's easy to replicate. You don't want to go chase any and everything that moves. Trust me, I've done that before. I'm really good at figuring out what not to do. I'm really, really good. I'm a black belt in figuring out what not to do. KMB. Okay. Kimberly Clark. Okay, so we got a little bit of a short signal. What was that, like on Friday? Just, yep. Yeah, then their lunchtime on Friday to go short. We'd be up just a little bit if we did that on Momo. If we were to look at it on a medium term, we're not going to get any signals on that because we're below the 50-day moving average, right? So when price action closes below the 50-day, below this green line, you're not going to get any of these signals to go long. Yep. So that's that. Let's take a look on the put sale level. Yeah, it's holding up well. On this day, we would have got a signal to look for selling like the 119, 120 strike price, but I don't see anything that sets up, except if you guys want to get in short, which is counter trend. If you want to jump in there, that's certainly an option. To buy some puts, you can, it looks like it touched it today. So again, if you missed it on the 20th on Friday, you could set up an order and get filled. You'd be filled already and you'd be just a little bit profitable on that one on KMB. Next is PEIX. Pacific Ethanol. Is that a oil company? Okay. So this move, it looks like it already made a pretty strong move, not terribly strong, but made a move today. If you were to look at it on the Momo, Momo tells us we should have gotten in right here. So you guys, it's not too far away. You can still put in a order, right, with a stop down here. If you wanted to do something like that, this is not going to be an official trade, but this is something you could certainly do, right? You guys see how I came up with that? The close of the candle. Nitro. Thank you, Father. I am your father. My daughter and I were watching The Mandalorian this weekend. It's pretty interesting. Have you guys seen that? Mandalorian on Disney Plus came out about a year ago, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, geez. Okay. So that is PEIX. Next is Micron. Anyone in Micron? Look at this. I can tell you what's going to happen here. Woo. It's not on my watch list. Maybe it should be, but would have gotten in here, stop below here. That's made quite the run, right? If you guys had some shares, if you guys had some options, call options, definitely would have been a nice run. Now, if we were to go back in time and back trade this, just hear me out here for a second. And we were to, we got the signal here, right? To get short, and then we got a signal here to buy. So if we were to buy here with a stop down here, or not even a stop at all. I mean, that's typically what the Momo, everyone asks me, where do I put my stop? That's the number one question I get with Momo. But let's say I just bought $1,000 worth of options, right? 40 delta, 30 days expiration, right? You guys can see there's some point where I would have been upside down on the trade, right? But I still had the green line was still above the red, not by a lot. But if I was to hold to my strategy and not panic, right? I could have made some nice, or I could have taken a loss, right? This is a pretty gnarly candle, right? You bought in here and you're upside down literally by the end of that same day, right? Is that right? The 6th, 11. Yeah, by the end of the day, you would have been upside down. But if you waited, it gaps up, continues higher, right? You guys see that? So if you just hold to the strategy and don't panic, it's really not hard. So you got this green zone, which means be bullish, right? So we could have already made a good chunk of money, probably 2 hours, depending on if you're using shares or options. You guys see what I'm talking about? Like it's really not hard. The number one challenge most people have is what? Is discipline. So if you can get a hold of this and get better at this and be aware of this and have extreme accountability, meaning you follow your plan exactly, like you either get an A+ or an F, right? If you think about it in those terms, the tougher you are on yourself when it comes to being disciplined and executing your plan and not taking any and every trade that everyone else is talking about. I'm not in Tesla right now. Yeah, of course I wish I would have been in it, but I'm not in it. So I got to wait, right? That's, I could be upset. I can cry myself to sleep that I missed out on it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm not in. I'm going to wait for it to come back to into my kind of where I need it to follow one of my setups, right? But at the end of the day, our job as traders is what it should be to execute your plan. That's it. Execute your plan. And when everyone else is distracted and looking at this and looking at that, execute your plan. That's it. You guys can see here easily could have made some R's, right? Look at that. We didn't panic, but this candle didn't make us exit our trade early or prematurely, right? So yeah, you could take gains anywhere along here if you wanted to. It had a little bit of a gap down, went higher, back to almost where we're, and this might flip here in a minute, who knows? But again, because we have the green zone, we're going higher. And the cool thing about these trading zones, this green area, is it gives us some wiggle room, right? Now, some of you guys think because your P&L is down for a day that you did something wrong, and that's not the case. It doesn't have to be the case. It could just be the stocks are doing their thing. They're wiggling around a little bit. You got to give them some room to wiggle, right? Now look at that. Had you not panicked, another high in your P&L since you entered, right? You see that? So I just want to encourage you guys, stick with the plan, follow. And you see here, we could have taken a profit here, exited, and then got short. Look at this nice little run, right? We locked in our gains, flipped from bullish to bearish right here at the close of this candle. And we bought some puts here, 40 delta, or we'll say negative 0.4 delta, right? And take some gains, right? We're making new lows on our P&L. So I'm sorry, the stock's making new lows and our P&L's making new highs if we're short, right? You guys see that? You guys see what I'm talking about? Nitro says, number one rule, do not look at your P&L. Actually, I think that's a big, big, big challenge for most people, is not to look at their P&L, because they'll say, oh, I'm up I'm up $998. I need the stock to move a little bit more, and then I'll be even 1,000. And next thing you know, $998 goes to zero. Or we're kind of trading our P&L, not the actual setup, not the actual ticker. But anyways, I just want to encourage you guys, follow your plan. Makes life easy on you. Had you done that, had you exited here and got in here, right? The first day you would have been up just a smidge, and then the rest is history. Yes, there's some days like right through here, your P&L would have been red for 2 days, right? Or 1 day, a couple days going through here, right? And then we're at new highs based on this entering right here, based on this right here, right? You guys with me? Does it make sense? Okay, again, Micron right there would have been, look at that. Did Momo and the 10 EMA line up on the same day again? Look at that. Wow, double signals. There's got to be something to that. I'm going to check into that. Jonathan Wage, we got to check into that. We got to automate that. When two strategies give you the same signal on the same day, maybe it's worth something, right? Yep. Nitro says Miss Momo is getting a Christmas card this year on your Christmas list. Yep. Yeah. All righty. So that is Momo, Micron. Sorry. Next is NIO. I got to move it along. Signal would have been in to get over here, right at the 27 and change area. Yeah, signal, it's just rocketing higher. Some of these, I'm aware, some of these are on your watch list because they're up high today. And you want to know, can I get in? And my answer to you is no, you may not. If you want to lose money, chase it higher. If you want to make money, just wait for it to pull back. You guys, everyone knows the higher it moves away from moving averages, the more it's going to snap backwards, right? It's like a rubber band. It's going to come back. You just have to be willing to be patient. Now, yes, you could buy it up here at all-time highs, but the odds are, I'd be willing to bet you, the odds are it's going to pull back a little bit first before it, or go sideways for a bit before it rockets higher, right? That's the normal cycle. That's the normal flow of how things work, right? So trade your plan, playing your trades. It's not hard. It's not really that hard. Okay, next is RNG, one of my used to be my favorites. Used to be on my watch list. You guys can see this is a lot of sideways chop, right? Oops, some chop action through here. This is LA traffic for the past, what, 6-7 months? It's going nowhere. Let's see what it looks like on Momo. Momo, what does Momo say? Yeah, so you guys can look at all the chop. So that's one I would stay away from as far as for right now. It just chops too much for Momo. For long term, let's take a look at the naked puts. Yeah, you got some signals. That one looks like it's holding up well, right? Got some signals back through here last week or two. Sell some puts at the 230 level strike. So that looks solid. Otherwise, it's kind of going all over the place, sideways. Select quote. Nothing there. Yeah, you could enter a limit order if you wanted to here, kind of at the close of that candle. And I'm basically just replicating where you could have gotten in. Obviously, if you missed that candle today, you have some, you can set up an order and wait for some kind of a pullback and then pretend that you got in at the right time, right? I do that myself. So something like that. Right, that's select quote. Next, Oscar, you asked for DUK, which is Duke Energy. Looks like these two lines are about to crisscross and you need to wait for your Momo signal. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, we're below our, we're not quite closed above, so that might trigger, actually you might get that tomorrow. You might get the double signal for Momo and the 10 EMA, right? Because right here we close below, and tomorrow if we close up above our blue line, which is our 10 EMA, That might be a good one to look at or to watch for tomorrow. Duke Energy. Next is OSTK from Zach. OSTK. Overstock. Look at that run. Wow. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. 465 up to 125. Okay, here's my point, ladies and gentlemen. Watch it. Oop. Shoot, hang on. OSTK. Now, some of you guys see these big moves, right? And you're like, Matt, can I get in? Now, how many of you guys type a 1 in chat pane if you would get in right here at the close? Nitro, you did. Was that a day trade or a swing trade? You're joking. Okay. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to prove a point. Who wants to chase these things higher? Some of these 3 or 4 or 5 of these stocks I never heard of made new highs in the past day or two. Now, what do you think is going to happen? New high? Oh, I'm missing out. I could have got in. Now watch what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Now tell me if you still would have wanted to get in. I'm trying to save you some headaches, trying to save you some money on Tylenol, trying to save you some R's, right? What about now? What about now? It's like, this is why we don't chase things higher. It's almost guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, but it's high probability these things are going to roll over. And the farther they get away from their moving averages, the steeper this, I mean, this is like a roller coaster, right? Look at that. The pitch, the angle on this EMA, look at that. That's a roller coaster. So again, just be patient. Don't get FOMO. If you have FOMO, reach out to me. We can do some exercises to help you beat the FOMO. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't at the end of the day, you should think about, you're never really going to miss out, because every day, Monday through Friday, the stock market is going to be open. And every day, some stock somewhere is going to be moving. And there's going to be plenty of opportunities in the future. This isn't like the last trade ever, and you better jump on it or you're going to miss out. That's not how you should be thinking about these. These are decent stocks, and they're always going to be setting up. Something somewhere is going to be setting up every day. So don't feel like you're missing out, right? It's like stepping into a field of sunflowers, and you think there's no more, and you turn a corner and there's a whole nother field that you could have had the best of the best to pick from, versus just finding the last one that you thought was available. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hit me with your Tech Giant Tuesday. Give me some ticker symbols. Jeremy will be back tomorrow. And let me show you guys something. Jeremy wanted me to share this. He is going to be running down this, if he's not already, 7 miles. He wanted me to share this. He'll be running down this 7 miles this afternoon. So he is doing his 12-hour walkabout today. So, alrighty, I got Datadog on the list. I got Big Commerce, BIGZ, see? I got AMWL, Twitter. You're welcome, Sybil. Baba, GLD, Tesla. Oh, Tesla, yep. Boeing, Teladoc. Is that BKD or BKND? BKD? Is that a BKD? Sammy, is that what is BKD? Is that what you want to look at? The book? I don't know if that was a typo or not, but BKD, Zoom, Apple, First Solar, SPCE. I got Big Commerce already. FUV, what? FUV. Never heard of that one. Okay. Wix, FUV, Wix, Netflix, and Fiverr. And Love. Let's see. Okay, perfect. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for letting me chat in your ear. Jerremy will be back tomorrow and on the 24th of November, and then we will be closed the rest of the week for Thanksgiving, which is a U.S. holiday. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. And don't forget to love life, live life, and trade it. Thank you and good night.